Yeah, right there. Zoom in right there. That's it. 163,000 rating, of which it got 1.6, not out of 5.
Disney just lost $300 million on the Snow White remake, and it might be their biggest flop ever. Theaters were empty within days, and with a 1.6 IMDb score from over 160,000 people, it's one of the worst-rated studio films in history. This isn't just a bomb, it's changing how Hollywood touches classic stories. Opening weekend brought $43 million, giving Disney false hope. Then came a collapse nobody saw coming. Ticket sales dropped 70% in just 1 week. As word spread about the film's problems, theater workers reported massive rooms with just 5-6 viewers during prime slots. This never happens with expected blockbusters.
Rachel didn't even seem like she cared or liked the source material. I mean, that is just far from a graceful Disney princess-like promotion. It's far from what you would think Disney would.
Videos of empty theaters spread across social media. One viral TikTok showed an usher walking through a massive auditorium where only one family sat in the center row. This public evidence of failure spread the disaster story faster than industry reports. By day 14, this $300 million project made just $120 million worldwide. Industry experts call this more than a flop. They see it as a game changer. Why did it fail so badly? The answer starts with star Rachel Zegler, whose connection with the character sparked instant debate. During press events, she looked visibly uneasy when talking about the original story. Fans watched her body language closely in interviews and press meetings. They noticed when she seemed to dismiss classic fairy tale elements.
Rachel Zegler was miscast. I'm not trying to be shady, but when you see the pictures of her as Snow White, you're like, that's Snow White? She doesn't look happy, she's not really smiling.
Fan groups that first defended her casting found themselves unable to support what looked like disrespect toward the source material. Comment sections filled with upset reactions as clips spread showing her apparent discomfort. She described story elements as outdated and problematic. Imagine casting someone as Superman who thinks capes look silly. The disconnect was obvious. This casting issue might have been manageable alone, but it was just the start of bigger problems. Behind the scenes, a serious conflict unfolded between Zegler and co-star Gal Gadot over their opposing views on the Israel-Palestine situation. This created an atmosphere so tense that filming stopped for nearly 8 hours during a key scene. This real-world tension showed up on screen. Viewers noticed the forced chemistry right away. Editing couldn't fix the disconnect. Sources claim the film went through 17 test screenings, far more than the typical 2 or 3, as editors tried to create chemistry that wasn't there. The final product felt disjointed, with scenes stitched together from takes that didn't match.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
When asked about the poor performance, Zegler's response made things worse. Rather than addressing creative concerns, she pointed to external factors, particularly a competing Snow White film that gained momentum, with viewers wanting a different take. This deflection strategy backfired, making it seem like Disney wouldn't take responsibility that rival production Snow White and the Evil Queen, starring internet figure Brett Cooper, started as what many dismissed as a publicity move by conservative media company Daily Wire. What happened next shocked Hollywood insiders and changed the landscape for classic adaptations. Cooper's traditionally inspired Snow White embraced the original fairy tale without modern changes. It exploded online. A single preview clip featuring Cooper in a costume matching the 1937 animation got 28 million views in just 72 hours. These numbers sent shockwaves through Disney's executive offices and investor calls.
This is really a bad movie, and I apologize to Walt Disney himself. I'm sorry.
Marketing teams were confused by the strong response to what they dismissed as a niche competitor. The preview comments filled with remarks like, "This is exactly what I wanted to see," and "Finally, someone who understands why we loved Snow White first." These comments revealed a gap between studio plans and audience wishes. The Daily Wire's marketing proved effective by positioning their film as the authentic option, rather than just another version. They focused on 3 key points: loyalty to the original story, celebration of traditional values, and direct audience involvement throughout production. Their straightforward message hit home: this is the Snow White you remember, not the one they think you should want. This direct challenge showed a mistake in Disney's approach. They underestimated audience attachment to the original story's core, thinking any update would be accepted regardless of how it was done.
The reviews are genuinely horrible, and new controversies surrounding the production, surrounding the actresses in the film are literally popping up every single day. They cannot outrun the curse that is on this film. And so
Cooper became central to their marketing, appearing in behind-the-scenes content that showed her lifelong love of the original Snow White story. While Disney used expensive CGI trailers, Cooper's team focused on authentic storytelling moments and practical effects that captured the handmade feel of classic fairy tale. Disney's plan failed for one simple reason: they tried having it both ways. Their marketing used nostalgia with images and music from the beloved cartoon, while the actual film dropped core elements that made people fall in love with Snow White originally. Viewers felt misled by this switch, and there's nothing audiences hate more than feeling tricked. Her trailers showed familiar visual themes and iconic scenes that barely appeared in the final film. This created a breach of audience trust that spread through word of mouth faster than any marketing could counter.
Wow, that girl's hot.
That's a guy.
That other guy's handsome.
That's a girl.
That cat is cute.
That's a dog.
What is everything?
Focus groups revealed something even more damaging. People across all age groups reported feeling talked down to rather than entertained. The magic that makes Disney films special had been replaced with something that felt fake. Even children in test screenings asked parents why it didn't feel like a real Disney movie. The fallout came fast. Disney's stock dropped 8% in just 2 weeks after release, costing billions in market value beyond the direct production losses. Major investors demand answers about the creative choices that led to such a huge miss with one of the company's most valuable properties. Investment analysts who used to ignore creative choices as subjective matters now examine upcoming releases for similar warning signs. One major financial firm issued a rare creative concern notice to clients regarding Disney stock, showing how badly this failure shook investor trust.
Please?
For which movie?
For Rachel Zegler, the results could define her career path. Industry sources reveal that 3 major roles she was considered for have quietly gone to different actresses. Brett Cooper has seen the opposite effect. The Daily Wire announced plans for an entire Classic Tales film series with Cooper as the main star. What makes this truly new is how it has turned childhood classics into contested cultural ground. Parents now face choosing between competing versions of stories that were once shared experiences, a split that education experts warn could change how these tales work in society. Child development specialists worry that the breaking up of these cultural touchstones could affect how children form common references with friends.
Behind the scenes, you guys know as well as I do that those executives like Spielberg are looking at that, saying, Rachel Zegler can F right off.
School librarians report more questions from students about which version of classic stories is real, a complexity that didn't exist when adaptations generally kept the core essence of original tales. This creates teaching challenges, as these stories have served as basic literacy tools because of their universal recognition. Social media has powered this division, creating parallel worlds where completely different stories about both films spread without crossing. The algorithms ensure most viewers only see views that match their existing beliefs, further widening the cultural gap. The timing couldn't be worse for an industry still recovering from pandemic losses and streaming competition. Major studios had counted on familiar stories as safe choices in an uncertain market.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
yeah,
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
Now, even those supposed sure wins are in question. Financial forecasts for upcoming adaptations have been reduced, with several projects put on hold while studios rethink their approach. The impact reaches across Hollywood. Production schedules change as executives demand emergency rewrites and test screenings for projects that were moving forward quickly. Writer rooms report a dramatic shift in notes from studios. Suddenly, honoring the original has replaced reinventing for modern audiences as the main goal. Scripts approved months ago are being sent back for major changes with specific instructions to reconnect with the emotional core of source materials.
Prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Multiple industry sources confirm that at least 7 major studio adaptations of classic stories have been delayed for significant rework in direct response to the Snow White disaster. Directors who were encouraged to put their unique stamp on beloved properties now hear explicit instructions to honor audience expectations. The final irony? A story about finding the fairest one of all has become the ugliest, most divisive battle in recent Hollywood history. When audiences feel a beloved story has been used as a weapon rather than celebrated, they look elsewhere. A lesson Disney learned the hard way, costing hundreds of millions of dollars.
So much fun, it should be illegal. Like copyright infringement. Ho-ho! See you at the game, Joel!
As this fairy tale disaster continues to unfold, one question remains that will shape entertainment for years. Who truly owns these stories that have defined childhood for generations? The studios that hold the rights, or the audiences whose emotional connection made them valuable in the first place? The answer might determine whether Hollywood can bring back the magic that made these stories beloved, or whether the industry will keep losing hundreds of millions by misreading what audiences truly want. If you found this breakdown interesting, hit that like button and subscribe for more Hollywood insights. Share your thoughts below. Should Disney have stayed true to the original Snow White? Thanks for watching. See you next time for another shocking industry truth.